They'll be calling you a radical. We have a whole bunch of things to talk to. First off, my radio show, I'll repost it. We had technical difficulties between the 40-minute and the 47-minute. And no, it wasn't NSA shutting us down. Ooh, the conspiracy theory. No, it was my fault. It was a glitch in my account. Sorry. Anyway, I'll repost it between the 40 and the 47-minute mark. They'll go. I want to talk about Pussy Riot a lot today, as I've got to know Maria and Nadia via this camera. I've got to know them in their activism. I want to talk about post-ignorance. I want to 10 over all this activism and what we're up to. First off, the fire at Carlsbad in the National Repository. It is the pilot repository. Now, what does that mean? Because Yucca Mountain never happened. We know what's in there. Us activists know what's in there. We don't believe you when you tell us, oh, it's safe. We don't believe a word you say. We know there was a fire. Then you say everything's okay. That's what you always say. I want to talk about Alex Jones and this moron he had on his show. These so-called experts that are ruining the Fukushima cause, that are ruining all these human rights cause. Pussy Riot, FEMEN, Plowshares, Free Radicals, Aaron Swartz, Bradley Manning, Edward Snowden. Over and over and over. Michael Hastings. We are all the same people. We are human rights activists who have been marginalized and kicked in the dirt. You know, most of us killed, beat up, imprisonated. Yeah, I got imprisonated for a long time. I was imprisonated in a bone marrow transplant center, and I would say in there, you know what this is like? I used to tell my nurses, I was quarantined in there. My kids couldn't get in. My children couldn't get in. Just me and my beautiful nurse, Whitney. Megan. So all many of these beautiful nurses. It was just us. I still remember me laying there thinking I was going to die on Thanksgiving 2011, and that was my worst. And she was, you know, she was crying, you know, and she tickled my hand. Hang on, Kevin, praying for me. I said a lot of being in there was like being on death row for a crime that you did not commit. That's what this all is. As an environmentalist, as Pussy Riot, as all of us. The interview that Amy Goodmans did with Nadia and Maria as they're here, I'm so happy that they use the word environmentalism. That's me, FEMEN, them, us together. Us communicating back and forth through emails, through YouTube. We've got to know each other through this genre, through Fukushima, through Chernobyl. I call it the nuclear triangle, the nuclear vagina. And you people that come to me and tell me how to communicate and tell me what to do, who the fuck do you think you are? You fucking arrogant fucks. Move the fuck on. This is not about quantity. The Million Masked Man March, John Fair, Anthony Fairhurst, Steve Grant, us that organized and did that whole thing all over the world. That was a small grassroots group of us communicating through this camera. That's who did this. We're all united on the same cause. Look. Dick Cheney, free. Donald Rumsfeld, free. Vladimir Putin, free. Megan Rice, not free. Nadia Maria, we're not free. Michael Hastings, not free. Edward Snowden, not free. Bradley Manning, not free. Now you think about that. In the history of humanity, this is beyond fashion. Professors in Japan for simply telling the truth about Fukushima, not free. Colin Powell, free. Condoleezza Rice, free. Tony Blair, free. The Foxconn, Sean Hannity, Glenn Beck, free. All these truth tellers in transparency, all us human rights activists, Megan Rice, Greg and Michael, not free. 84-year-old nun being tortured. I think it's so important. The Senate's going to be the 18th now. I'll be at Diablo Canyon on the pier at Via Pier. I'll get to San Luis Obispo on the 13th. Need somebody to pick me up, you know, right there. I'm staying right there with some people. On the pier all day. We'll go over there because this has to be organic. This has to be organic. We're all doing this with no money. We're freelancing it. Caroline Lamb sent me this camera. As you know, my cameras before, my two cameras I used were both activists. A guy from Texas, a guy from Denver sent me those cameras. I've done this with no money, zero. I got wiped out, forked everything I had. That's the beauty of this. You think about it. An activist down at the San Onofre, I was in critical condition down at the San Onofre. We were going to hit the beach on D-Day, and so they come out and says, oh no, we've worked with Barbara Boxer's office, and I want people to talk about this in a political atmosphere too. How can you sit and say, you know, go off on impeach Obama, do this, blah, blah. Presidents do not make law in this country. That's where you guys, you've lost your fourth grade. Congress makes law. Does Congress matter? Oh yes, oh yes. So you sit and say this, that, the other thing. I'll ask these people. I do it over and over. And these are politically motivated people. My PhD, well, who's your congressman or woman? They don't know. They don't even know the difference between a congressman or senator. You have 2 senators. Each state has 2 senators. It's not purely representative government in popularity because North Dakota has 2 senators, so does California, 40 million versus 400,000. Congress, there's your representative. I know who my representative is. Yeah, he's a moron, but I go in and communicate with him and I talk to him. You know, Mike Lee's one of my senators. I disagree with everything he has, but I talk to him and communicate with him because that's the way the political process. We are no more ignorant, our representative government, than we are. I mean, that's a fact. You know, and if you run for office at the local level, I mean, we're so passé, ignorant. Fukushima, as we know, ongoing. Transparency. I'm a human rights activist. Social inequality, I talk about tariffs, I talk about the nuclear triangle. You know, that painting in my studio that you look at. I painted that in 1994. There's FEMEN, there's Japan, there's Russia. And I want to talk about this moron that was Alex Jones, who's going, oh, the solar flares, the Jews freaking did a bomb, murder. Lies, 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 lies. Let's not go into lunacyville. He's talking about the USS Reagan. Oh, they were shitting themselves on the Reagan. Myself and Christina Radchick broke that story so long ago. I was in San Diego at the hearings, at the trial, all summer long. I know some of those people personally, with the adjuncts involved. I have the transcript from the trial. $75 a page, by the way. An activist bought them for me, sent them to me. Oh, they were shooting. This is how grotesque they are. This is how shitting themselves all over the thing. And the snow, they were out there in that nuclear snow. This is how pathetic. And they hear a story and they just go with it. That wasn't snow, morons. That was the foam. By the way, when they brought it home and supposedly did, they had a Little League football camp that Christina and I have widely reported. I mean, you go back, it's like you guys want to jump in now and forget all this work that we did. It's all there. It's all there. We have it all. It's ridiculous. One of the kid who broke the story, the young couple that came home, the man and woman who each there, one was a thyroid event and the other was, I believe, a stomach event. But the main marquee thing is a kid from Salt Lake who got leukemia, who I know. Don't sit and spin this to win your own debit. That's what they're trying to do. That's what they're trying to do. Is I call it Foxconn. I call it Foxconn. Not to be confused with Foxcom, which is the quintessential slavery of Apple. Your Apple computer, you know, you guys agree with slavery. It's a simple philosophical battle that we're having here. Pussy Riot, Megan Rice Plowshares, Greg Michael, FEMEN, Code Pink, Pat Tillman's group that exposed that he was executed. I mean, listen to the congressional. Jessica Lynch, listen to that, what they did. This is beyond fascism, way past fascism. To tell the truth is to go to lies. She said, Maria, I believe, said, it's about transparency. And they talked about the Olympics. That didn't represent nothing. It's just like here in Salt Lake. You know how corrupt our Olympics was right here? Oh, Mitt Romney? Oh, yeah. You know how corrupt that was? I live here. Right there. Right there. That's the Olympic downhill. That mountain I show you, that's the Olympic downhill right there. I was at it. I was at opening ceremonies. Nelson Mandela was there. Lech Walesa was there. It's a scam. Like she said it perfectly. And I'm hoping that I can get with Nadia and Maria while they're here. We're working on it. We're working on it. A group of activists are working on it. We're all united. We're human rights activists, every one of us. Well, what's the top of the heap? The air that we breathe. They get it in Russia, Chernobyl. They get it. 580,000 material. I like how you people all go off on freaking Gorbachev. Gorbachev was the greatest anti-nuclear activist in human history. He tried to shut it all down. The freaking guys grabbed Reagan's hands as he tried. Watch Richard Rhodes play. His wife died from leukemia, the same thing that's in my body from Chernobyl. The price they're paying in there is grotesque, the Russian women. A little girl from Russia, as I do that with the Central Line, go to my page and you see that. That's in symphony on the day when Pussy Riot organized and all the girls from every major city around the world. I built a Facebook, or a page on my website, Blanch Swartz, on it. They're magnificent, every major city in the world. Prague. My favorite one's the one in Glasgow. I did this one in Symphony here with my central line hanging out with FEMEN and Pussy Riot. That was their day. That was it, April 2012. That was their day. That's what that was. In symphony with them. Supporting them as they support us. We get it, the nuclear triangle, Japan, Russia. Look, when a shake oh, solar flares. They have backup generators. The solar flares are not going to do shit. That's a lie. But here's the problem. Just like Diablo Canyon. Same number. When the shake happens, the core fractures. When the core, it doesn't matter if you got a backup cooling. It doesn't matter. It's released. It's on. It gets up, blows. It was not the tsunami who wiped out the backup generators, which caused it even worse, absolutely. But it's the fracture of the core. They can only handle up to a so-called level. These low levels that are happening, God, they're happening constantly because we haven't updated these plants. Bad idea? Oh yeah. Yucca Mountain, bad idea? Yeah. Shooting space, bad idea, but there are no good ideas. That was our argument about this in the inception. As it's all the Cold War, or the tornado hit Paducah and exposed it, that's Russian waste in there? Yeah, that's all true. This is all true. Everything I say on my YouTube site's true. Pussy Riot, FEMEN, freaking Michael Hastings. We're telling the truth. Simply telling the truth. Kill us, incarcerate us. Megan Rice, Michael not free. Dick Cheney, Colin Powell, Donald Rumsfeld, free. Tony Blair, free. The greatest criminals in a generation. The greatest spirituality. She said it so beautifully in that courtroom. Mary Evelyn Tucker, Megan's family member. She said, the great lineage of Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Megan Rice says she lives the lineage. You don't see it. I see it. I report it. I live it. We're all human rights activists. That's what post-ignorance is. Post-ignorance is an art movement, a communication movement, a social movement that throws a blanket over all this because it's all really the same thing. And the top of the heap is the air we breathe. Fukushima. My leukemia. It's a hallmark. This is all. Megan Rice, a hallmark. Pussy Riot, a hallmark. These are events in time and our place that stand in truth versus the rest of you who stand for Pay the Dragon Slayer. Don't tell me how to communicate. My fuck word, intimidate your children, they say. Well, as they watch naked runway models on Victoria's Secret in prime time, do you have erectile dysfunction? You've abused your own children by your passive-aggressive, hair-sprayed ways. Not me. I'm trying to save your children. Stay untuned.